So in this example, we have a poll that's done before an election for sheriff, and there's 230 people that were called up and they were asked who they want to vote for. And you see the outcomes of that poll right here. And the question is, if the poll is a reliable predictor of how all the actual voters are going to vote in the election, which of the following best estimates the number of votes Sheriff Justice will receive? Now, if we look for Sheriff Justice, okay, he or she is not doing well. They only had 30 votes out of 230 in the poll. So the question is, how should we expect that Justice does in the actual election of 9,200 voters? And what you have to do here is you have to set up a ratio. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 30 over 230. That is the percentage of the vote that Justice got in the poll. And we're going to say, since this poll is a reliable predictor, that means the percentage of the real votes is going to be the same as 30 over 230. Or in other words, what's a percentage of the real votes? It's some number divided by 9,200. So here's what we have. 30 over 230, right? That's a percentage. Let me just see what that is here. 30 over 230. Yeah, that's terrible. That's like 13%. We're going to say that in the actual election, Justice gets 13% of the vote. So in other words, 13% of 9,200. So if we multiply 13% times 9,200, you're going to get about 1,200 votes. And algebraically, the way I'm going to show that is I'm going to multiply. Let me shrink this guy down so I have a little more room to work with it. I'm going to multiply both sides of this equation right here by 9,200. And the reason I'm doing that is because that's going to cross out the denominator, and all I'll be left with over here is x. And then you can just punch this right side into your calculator. You do 9,200 times 30 divided by 230. And that equals, that equals 1,200 votes. Or if you prefer, you can think about it as a percentage. First, you figure out the percentage, 30 over 230 is 13%. And then you say 13% of 9,200. Well, that's going to lead you to the same thing. So either way, they both work. And that's how you do ratios. These are actually done all the time, every 2 or 4 years.